Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. In today's video I'll be completing Hitman 3's 4th mission, End of an Era, on Master difficulty with suit only and Silent Assassin fully intact, the HUD completely switched off with no cuts and no saves. The mission: eliminate the 2 targets and hack into the ICA data core. To show you how I pulled this off, the video will be broken down into 2 stages. The first stage is the plan. This is where I will be scoping out the level, finding hidden paths and secret passageways, gathering intel, and yes, making lots and lots of mistakes. Once I've finished the planning stage to a satisfying degree, I'll then move on to stage 2, the execution. With the HUD switched off, I'll execute the plan that was designed in stage 1. As always, the loadout for the mission will be the original starting location, 47's signature suit, the ICA gold baller, the lockpick MK3, and 3 coins. Welcome to Supercut, the series where we take an entire Let's Play and squash it into one video. My name is Mr. Supercut and this is the planning stage of Hitman 3's End of an Era. Run 1 saw us start at the end of a long bridged pathway, and once I'd reached the other side I realised I hadn't switched the HUD back on after completing Berlin. I found some homeless men babbling into the night and hurried up the stairs so as not to disturb them. I was already familiar with Chongqing and knew the map fairly well before starting, but not well enough to know what the passcode was to get to the roof that I wanted to get to. So I headed down a back alley which led to the building where one of our targets, Hush, was conducting his inhumane experiments on the top floor. I climbed through an open window and up a strangely placed pipe along a corridor and came to a room where a candidate was being interviewed to be one of Hush's next test subjects. Eventually the candidate was dismissed as they'd already found the perfect one, and I ran away fearing for my life, only to find that the candidate couldn't have cared any less. I crept through the room, past the sleeping guard, camera and 2 scientists, out the window on the other side, across the balcony, over the edge and up a pipe to the next floor. I snuck along, finding several guards dotted about the place, and carefully made my way around the outskirts of the room so as not to get spotted. I managed to sneak out of yet another window, up yet another pipe, and then through the open window on the upper floor where evil scientists were conducting some experiments on homeless people. This was probably what the homeless men from earlier were babbling on about. I headed out to the balcony, up a ladder taking me to the top floor, and found 2 doors, both with keypads that I didn't know the code for. But just by looking through the window I found the numbers 2552 scribbled on a whiteboard, and to my surprise it opened the doors. I opened the nearest one, finding my target just on the other side of this room and a scientist and guard currently occupying my path toward him. Hush moved along and so I crept in, unfortunately getting spotted by the scientist in the process. I knocked him and the guard out, dumped both of their bodies, and upon realising I couldn't do anything else in this room, used the code to gain access through the second door. I determined that there was no way I could get through without being spotted by everybody, backtracked and found a ventilation system I could poison, but no poison, and eventually Hush returned from wherever he'd just been. With all eyes now focused on Hush and all backs to me, I could sneak in through the door without being seen. I snuck past everybody, shot a camera in the hallway, climbed out of the window and then climbed through the neighbouring window and knocked out the perfect candidate that we'd previously heard about. I flooded the sink in order to lure a guard in and knock him out, thinning the population of the neighbouring room, but when he walked in he spotted my bald head peeking through the window, so I very awkwardly shot him dead. I climbed through, shot the investigating guard and the test subject and Hush and a scientist, and then me and a guard took each other out at the same time, so I hit restart. In run 2 I still wanted to get access to a particular building but still didn't have the access code, so attempted a different route through. I picked the lock to a nearby walkway only to be spotted by a friendly couple who unfortunately were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I launched the first body over the edge which landed on the homeless shelter below, and the second body over the side which fell into the abyss. I carried on like nothing had happened and made my way toward the rooftop. I shot the first guard and then the second 2, hurried up the staircase and shot the 4th guard who didn't die and uttered this strangely depressing remark.
He got me, but I don't give a shit!
I then killed him and that was that. I headed all the way to the top area and Olivia told me over the radio that the orb I was looking at looked like a crashed drone, and after scanning it told me that it was connected to our second target, Imogen Royce, who would be alerted if a drone was damaged. Olivia encouraged me to take out some more. I managed to shoot 1 drone down with my pistol, and then Olivia told me that that wasn't good enough and I needed to shoot some more. I eventually managed to take out another drone and we heard Royce complain over the radio that Hush was taking out her drones. Olivia encouraged me to take out some more, but I was definitely too far away and too bad of a shot to take out the drones from where I was. I climbed down and across a balcony to the other side to get a closer peek at these pesky drones. I climbed up onto a roof housing a satellite dish which I just decided to shoot for no reason, and then hurried along to the rooftop where the drones were whizzing about. I was now close enough to shoot them down, but still bad enough that I couldn't hit them. Unfortunately, the moment I shot the drone, I got spotted by a guard who ran over to arrest me, and more unfortunate was the fact that I just spent my last bullet. I socked him one, then got turned into Swiss cheese, so here we start. In run 3, I waited to see if the couple moved along after their conversation, but they didn't, and then tossed a coin to see if I could distract them just long enough to pick the lock. They saw me again, so I shot them again, and this time they were both swallowed up by the abyss. I sped past the guards without killing or alerting anyone, headed into the building and up the stairs, and then spotted a very conveniently placed sniper rifle beside the Lone Ranger. I picked up a bricked him, dumped his body, and then headed all the way back downstairs because I wanted to test the code 2552 on the entrance to this area because I wanted to use this method on the final no HUD run, but picking the lock near the Chinese couple was proving difficult. The code 2552 didn't work, so my next task was finding the code to this door. I headed over to an apartment complex and picked the lock to one of the apartments, finding nothing of interest inside, and then up some stairs to find another door locked behind a key code, and no, 2552 did not work. I climbed to the roof, which came out near the satellite dish from the previous run, and then shot a drone out of the sky. Olivia didn't say anything, which made me realise I'd need to scan the crashed drone first to trigger that particular side quest. So here we start. In run 4, I headed into a restaurant where an important looking man was about to order some food. I grabbed the local newspaper and pretended I could read it to listen in on the conversation. After they'd finished talking, I climbed into the kitchen but found nothing interesting and then almost got spotted on my way out. I then headed into the bathroom and out the window and then overheard a woman trying to remember the code for something. I then watched her type in and declare loudly for all to hear that the code to get into that particular area was 0118. I immediately headed back to the laundromat, punched in the code, and hey presto, it worked. I grabbed a soda on the way up, launched it at the Lone Ranger's head, picked up the sniper, dumped his body, scanned the drone, and then began picking off the drones one by one. Hilariously, even with a sniper rifle, I was still a terrible shot, as you will likely see in the final no HUD run. Eventually, after shooting a number of the drones and wanting to get closer, I slid down the pipe, only to come inches away from being spotted. Oh my word! What the heck? After scrambling back up to the vantage point, I decided to carry on attempting to take out the drones, and after shooting another, Royce announced over the radio that she wanted 2 additional drones launched near Hush's penthouse. Her idea being that if they also went down, Hush was absolutely positively the one destroying them. The guards I nearly ran into then began climbing the stairs toward my location, so I slid down the pipe only to have a third guard come from below to where I was hiding. I hopped over the ledge and hung around for a bit, and after a long while the 2 guards headed back down and retook their positions. I decided to move a little closer toward the drones and took them both out, causing Royce to confront Hush over the radio and demanded he meet her at the Lotus Passage. Annoyingly though, I couldn't climb back up because the guards were still just stood there, so I headed across the rooftops toward the unlikely duo and pulled out my rifle. Using my instinct, I noticed the edge of a highly flammable gas canister. I almost got spotted, so took out the nearby guards with my pistol, retrained my sights back onto the couple and shot them both dead. Olivia then announced I could finally attempt to access the data core. But first I headed over to Royce and Hush to attempt to dump their bodies, and after launching Hush over the edge, his personal bodyguard came out as I was dragging Royce. I shot him dead, then ended my own life, and here we start. In run 5, I headed up top, grabbed the sniper, scanned the drone, shot the rest down, and then when the guards headed up, I slipped over the edge and waited for them to leave. After they'd established there was nobody around, I climbed back up, took out the final 2 drones, and then set my sights on the pair as they began to argue in the Lotus Passage. I shot the gas canister once and nothing happened, so shot it again and blew them both to smithereens. I dropped the rifle and then headed down the stairs, found a crowbar lying around, and then snuck past the 2 guards and down the stairs, out of the laundromat and into the street. I then headed back to the restaurant to find that woman with the loose lips, and she spotted me. I knocked her out, which was heard by a nearby guard, so shot him and the others dead and headed on through the secret passageway, which led to a massive underground facility housing the ICA data core. I headed down the stairs and left through a nearby door, hacked the window and climbed through into the security office where every officer had their back turned, and then pinched a tier 1 access dongle off the desk. I snuck past without any issues and then climbed into an elevator shaft, up a pipe, across a ledge, through another window which led me back to where I'd entered in the first place. I got spotted by a camera and guards came swarming toward me, so I quickly headed back down the elevator shaft and into the facility again. I headed through a set of double doors only to be spotted by yet another camera, and even though I quickly shot it, it was too late. I tried to get through the next door but needed a tier 2 access dongle, which I very quickly found lying on a desk in the room next door, opened the locked door and was met with absolute hostility. I shot the guard dead, used a screwdriver to open a nearby vent, climbed in and skulked through, coming out near another hallway where I shot an innocent worker for absolutely no reason. I headed down the stairs and shot some guards, got taken out, so hit restart. In run 6, after taking out Royce and Hush, I followed the worker in through the locked door instead of knocking her out and picked up a security camera tag on the way. I headed up the same route as last time, but this time nobody was in a panic or a frenzy, so I took things at a leisurely pace. I picked up the tier 2 access dongle, headed through the door and down the stairs, knocked out the working suit and dumped his body, and then climbed through one of the vents. I then headed up a ladder which led out to a reasonably familiar looking area and made a mental note to use this as my exit strategy. I found a tier 3 vent which I couldn't open as I didn't have the correct dongle, but whilst skulking through the vents I managed to find a screwdriver which then allowed me to crack open the tier 3 vent. I came out near to the data core and was only one step away from hacking into it. I just needed to figure out which route to take from here. On the left was a guard with his back to me and on the right was a camera. I launched a screwdriver toward it and when I went to pick it up got spotted by an approaching guard, so also launched a screwdriver at his head as well. I then quickly headed into the only room I could and stabbed the worker with another screwdriver I had hidden up my sleeve and then realised there was nothing else that I could do. I quickly headed next door, unplugged a battery, got spotted by a guard, headed back into the room and still couldn't do anything, took out the guard and then found I couldn't actually get into the data core as I specifically needed a tier 3 access dongle to open the door. I ran around the other side and the door into the core was wide open for some reason, so I ran in and got taken out, so hit restart. In run 7 I managed to knock out the staff worker outside the keypad without any issues and then dumped her body. I then headed the exact same route I'd taken last time, but just before climbing out of the vent near the data core I saved the game for the first time. I shot the camera which alerted no one, then hacked the blackout windows allowing me safe passage into the middle room and the ability to take out the worker without anybody seeing. There was still nothing to do in this room, so dragged the worker's body into the corridor and dumped it in a nearby locker and then stood behind the entryway a hair's width away from the guard on the other side, and once he'd moved in I did too. I then headed back out because I couldn't find a way through. I headed to the other side and this was absolutely even worse. No passage at all. I flipped a nearby switch causing one of the workers to investigate, knocked her out and dumped her body and then followed the guard through the area finding that he stood at the very end just beneath a camera. So I headed back around to the other side. I distracted the guard with a coin and then tried dragging him into the room whilst the worker's back was turned, only to be spotted by another worker whilst dumping the guard's body. I shot everyone dead and then used my screwdriver to open up another vent which I didn't follow through and then decided to just hit reload. In run 8, I unplugged the battery, causing a worker to investigate at the same time. The guard was heading on down. I got spotted by both of them at the same time, so hit reload. In run 9, I distracted the guard instead of the workers and then dumped his body. I then distracted the first worker and choked her out, giving me enough breathing room to open the nearby vent. I climbed through and came out into a very important looking room with a lot of guards on the outside. I found nothing useful in here, so headed back out. I launched a screwdriver at the camera at the end of the hall, which didn't alert the nearby worker, picked it back up, opened the vent at the end of the corridor, crawled through and eventually found a vent which led directly into the data core itself. After hacking into the data core and doing what I needed to do, which you will see in the final run, spoilers, it is just pressing the A button for about a minute straight, my location was compromised and guards descended on me like vultures. The core began to overheat and I was running out of options, with my planned route out blocked by an inferno. I aimlessly wandered my way around the complex, in and out of vents, and unfortunately got spotted in the process. I got taken out, so hit reload. In run 10, I shot the camera instead of throwing a screwdriver, which caused the worker to spin around and spot me, so hit reload. In run 11, I hacked the data core, found the route I wanted to take, climbed the ladder from earlier, which led to a reasonably familiar location, quickly left the area and managed to steal a bike and biked off into the sunset. Finally, after only 11 runs, I turned all the HUD options off and attempted the mission for the final time. Now, without further ado, I present to you the execution stage of End of an Era.
shouldn't be out here with a bad influence. Coming up, it's 3 in the morning. Hey, you up there?
I forgot to ask you how your trip to Finland went. Did you go on that night road to see the
No, it was Iceland. And I missed them.
I'm never going to get my Blu-rays back. Am I?
Yeah, well,
That thing looks like a crashed drone. I bet it's connected to the facility. Why don't you scan it, and I'll see what I can find out. This thing is hooked up to Royce. Pings her if it's damaged. I can't use the transfer from this one. But if you take down a couple more, I might be able to piggyback the message and gain access to Royce's phone. This place is an excellent vantage point to take down some drones. I'm in. I just need to lock down the random sequence. Give me a second.
I specifically said I wasn't.
Damn! Nilly had it. I need you to shoot more drones, and I'll lock the link. Got a lock. We can now listen in on Royce's phone calls.
Royce here, another drone just went down. It must be Hush doing this.
Again? You scared him pretty bad last time.
If you don't find out who's doing this and stop it, I'm coming up there myself.
Nice shot. Keep it up and maybe Royce will make an appearance.
I want all roofs manned and 2 additional drones launched near Hush's penthouse. If they go down too, we know it's him. And then there's no more hiding. I swear he'll have to answer for this face to face.
We may get more than we bargained for if you take care of those drones near Hush.
Search the roof. There may be a potential hostile. Shoot on sight, even if it's one of Hush's people. Roger. So far it's clear. Moving further up now. Roof clear. Found the crashed drone, though. I'll grab the chip now and we can get the rest later. I'm coming down now.
Not bad. I'll keep the signal up a little while longer.
Hush, you fucking idiot! How dare you take down my drones?
What? I did no such thing. You sent your ridiculous drones to spy on me. We have a truce, and I'm not letting your petty insecurities allow you to stake me out.
Lotus Passage, now! And I don't give a shit about your condition.
For fuck's sake, Royce. I don't have time to cater for your stupidity.
You don't have a choice. How do you think Main Branch would feel about you isolating yourself for weeks? Now, Hush, the Lotus Passage.
Well done. You've got 2 pissed-off targets on their way to meet in the Lotus Passage. Sounds like a lethal cocktail, especially with you in the mix.
Damn you, Hush.
This is ridiculous, Royce. I didn't touch your drones.
You liar! You lie about
Both targets in one go. You are good. My turn. Just give me a second, and I'm in. You can now access the core, 47.
Can't believe you forgot to bring the cards. Again. I'll bring them tomorrow, okay?
So, how was Sweet?
Alright. Mr. Pritchard, I presume. Hi, I'm Chelsea. Pleased to meet you. I'll be your guide as the ship. Then put a code and see. 1, 2, 3.
Come on, thanks. 2, 1. Definitely.
Welcome. Please follow the grey line to security check. Thank you.
You can hack that panel with your camera, 47.
Access granted. Security protocol overruled. Security protocol overruled.
There's no way you're getting through that door 47. It only opens for people with an authentic security clearance. The signal is encrypted. Without a dongle, we can't hack it. Good, you're alone. I'm sealing the room and dimming the windows for a second. No need to worry about intruders. It's all here. Clients, operatives, every hit the ICA ever sanctioned. Enough to shut them down for good. But first you need to locate all files referencing Diana and yourself.
Taking lives.
Random. Disorder.
Well, we are here. Basic training starts at 0600 hours. I should leave you to prepare. Perhaps I see a possibility where others see limitation. I choose him.
The two of you go way back. I didn't realize that you... I don't know. I get why you want to protect her. So, wipe all the data referring to the two of you from their system before we publish the rest. Okay, good. I've set up a link to an information non-profit site. When you press that button, it's up there and the whole world will know. There's no undo 47. This will shut the ICA down for good. You really okay with this? It's who you've been for so long.
Maybe it's time for a change.
I'll just return things to normal. No need to alert them we were here prematurely.
Detected. Lockdown.
Shit! I missed that. We're blown 47. I can hold the doors for a little while. Use the vents to get out. Go, now!
All personnel. Breach protocol initiated.
This is bad. That means they'll shoot on sight. I'm gonna create some havoc, 47. Make the core melt down. Maybe we'll divert their attention a bit.
Warning. Core overheating. Warning. Core shut down. Temperature critical. Warning. Fire detected.
Anybody copy? No sign of any pup. Moving on.
All personnel. Breach protocol initiated.
Command, I'm in my position. Over.
Warning. Core overheating.
Was that command?
Warning. Fire detected.
Command, nothing in my position. Over.
All personnel. Breach protocol initiated.
And I have nothing to report from my current location. Over.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then do be sure to like, comment and subscribe. This episode was live streamed over on Twitch, where I was able to interact with you guys amidst all of the accidents and mishaps I had along the way. All future episodes will be live streamed as well, so make sure you check out the link in the description to make sure you're following to join in the hunt. I will catch you in the next video. Happy hunting.